Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township. You know, those government people that make laws, regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And that's why we're here.
Partially.
Just in case you found yourself in a taxing situation.
Yeah, partially. And that's true. If you don't attend these meetings, as David points out, you could very well be surprised in a bad way, or, as some say, in a humorous way, in a good way. Who knows? Right. Well, there's a lot of things going on in our communities. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, first thing, is going to be the Oxford Village DDA meeting, Downtown Development
Authority.
Got it. Authority. And Addison Township Board of Trustees. And if we have time, we're going to talk about the Pollyant Trail Management Council. Okay. And all of these meetings occurred within the last few days, so it'll be fairly fresh when you folks see it out there. The Oxford Village DDA, of course, is head up by Susan Bassardet. And people that serve on that board is Regina Woodson, Dorothy Johnston, Tony Malaya.
There you go.
Got it. I knew you were going to correct me on that, weren't you? I did this on purpose, you know.
No.
No. Okay. And Sam Barna serves on that board. And of course, I do too, but
Wasn't there a Mr. Kennis, or maybe that's something else?
No, you're thinking of the village council.
Ah, that's right.
Tom
Okay.
Kennis would be on that council,
Okay.
but we're not talking about the council today. You got it? Okay. Got it. Okay. The people who were absent at this particular meeting were Susan Schur, Rod Charles was missing, and Pete Schultz, fire chief, and yours truly. So I was out of town for a while. And,
Missing in action?
Missing in action, yep. My wife knew where I was at, but nobody else did.
It was your anniversary.
It was, yeah. Okay, so that's why we're out of town. So anyway, we've got approval for all these people to be excused. They did the Pledge of Allegiance, got the preliminaries out of the way, of course. The minutes for May 12th and May 15th were both approved. And by the way, we're going to talk about that May 12th meeting because there was some controversy that came up during that meeting. And we're going to kind of snuff it out.
That's your meat and potatoes, isn't it?
Could be. We'll have to see how this turns out. Public comment. Nobody commented. So anyway, so they went on with the meeting. Susan Bassardet mentioned that she received a plaque for Main Street approval, and she was at a meeting in Rochester, I believe, where it was presented. So she did have that plaque, present at the meeting, and kind of showed it off a little bit. So that's kind of nice. Main Street recognition. Let me see. Review revenue and expense report. It was received and filed, which normally it is if there's no inconsistencies or no erasures shown in the report.
Aberrations or obfuscations?
Yes, well, all of the above. If none of those things show up, then they'll go ahead and move forward with it, which they did. Okay, code activity and police report. They talked about that just briefly. Everything is fine there. They received and filed it. And old business. Here we go. Concerts in the park. They approved MCs, speakers, to present the music. Professionals or non-professionals or semi-professionals that are going to play either instruments, music, and so forth at the concerts in the park.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be each of the DDA members going to act as an MC in introducing these people.
That's every Thursday at...
It starts, I think, at 6 o'clock, but actually...
That's an open mic kind of a thing.
Open mic, yeah. Then 7 o'clock is actually when it begins. And, our evenings have been pretty good in terms of weather, so...
There's a lot of lawn chairs out there.
Yeah, there are. And there are seating out there as well, so... Anyway, if you've never gone, you might want to attend the concerts in the park, and of course sponsored by the Downtown Development Authority.
Right there in Centennial Park.
Right there in Centennial Park. Yep. And there's lots of little restaurants around. If you get thirsty, hungry, or whatever in the meantime.
It's got a relatively new one there with shaved ice, right?
Yeah. Right. You got it. You've been there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, the other thing that they didn't talk about is they have a new sponsor that just donated $1,000, and that's Double T. And name of the company, Double T. That's very nice of those people to donate for your enjoyment out there.
Wonderful.
Yep, new business came along. James, I can't think of his last name, but he was the temporary business manager for downtown, or for the village. And he is working on a
He was?
he's still working on it, I guess. he
said
was, he is, and going to continue for a little while to work on a project. It's reimbursement of personal profit or property loss, certain property loss. And it actually involves a state legislation move for property and the TIF loss program that they had. And that's quite
What
detailed.
is that, a loss program?
Monies that be recouped, by various villages and townships, that kind of thing. From the state. So anyway, in order to get this money, they have to file a form with the state.
Aren't TIFs typically, assessed to various individuals in a town?
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What do you mean? What do we mean? No, I mean, where does TIF incomes come from?
They come from, I think, property taxes as a rule. From
So how
the
does the
residency.
state get involved?
Well, they do. And I can't tell you all the specifics of that.
Okay.
You need to talk to your representative on that one. They can be more informative, probably.
Then
Right. Yeah, I could say take a note, but you got such a high stack of notes there, and they're all turning yellow. So I don't know if we can go any further with that one. But anyway, he has to fill out a special form, and the special form is 5176. Now, this isn't chump change. We're talking roughly about $23,000
Wow.
in return money that we can get to the village. So,
Go for it.
Yeah, it's worth running for, and he's doing a good job, and it looks like it's proceeding along, and it's a good opportunity or chance that it might go through.
Oh.
So it's good. And they are interviewing for a new village manager. They have one person they just recently interviewed, I guess, close to Grand Rapids. That's been in a job in that position.
in Wayland, I
In
believe.
Wayland, yeah.
Right.
And I don't know how that's going to go. I hesitate to mention anybody who's been hired for the DDA.
You've gotten really good at that.
Right? It's kind of, now you see it, now you don't. So I think we're going to have to wait on this one and see what the outcome is, right?
Might have a new section there called retractions.
It could be retractions, yeah, right. Dig in and go further with it. Anyway, Susan Passardit, the chairperson, she made remarks concerning the meeting of May 12th. And I told you we'd get back to this because there was some objection. It was a special meeting, and it was supposedly declared by one of the members of this group that it was not a legitimate meeting, and according to Public Open Meetings Act,
Was it a closed meeting?
it was not. It was an open meeting. So anyway, Susan sent the information to the attorney, and the attorney reviewed everything, and he said no. He said that all requirements were met, and there was no illegitimacy.
It was
involved
posted,
at all.
right?
It was posted. Yep. So anyway, that being said, we'll come back with more right after this.
Okay.
Welcome back, Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the DDA meeting that was held just a couple days ago. And the next subject that came up was concerning the DDA director. As you know, they need or hunting for a new director. You know,
a lot of
for
personnel.
this group. Yeah, yeah. They've gone through a couple of them, of course, to get to this point, as well as they've looked at the village situation. But anyway, DDA director, they have some help coming from John Bry, and he's with the county, and he's involved in the Main Street, within our county.
Right.
A very outspoken individual, very smart guy, and he's put together a number of candidates. I believe that they've discovered about 3 others in terms of applications for the DDA position, plus 2 of the applications that were submitted before.
Okay.
People have shown an interest yet to continuing the ability to
I think the
possibly
last
get the job.
individual was offered the job but turned it down.
The last 2.
Oh.
Yeah. They say 3 is a charm. Is that what it is?
We'll find out.
We shall find out, right. So anyway, so the process is going on for the DDA director, and they're going to have a preliminary interview by the board of 3 people, and then those 3 will select the 3 candidates who show the most promise.
Okay.
And then they'll be brought before the board for an interview by the
I know
board.
3 is a charm, but we don't want it to be a hat trick and go the other way.
We don't want a hat trick. No, we do not want to do that. Anyway, we'll have to see what happens. You folks stay tuned. You'll learn more as we roll along here in weeks to come. So anyway, at one point they said, well, why don't we hire an interim director? And John Bay said, no. He said, I wouldn't recommend that. He said, your process is in action right now. It's moving forward. And you don't want to stop and go. So, we should proceed with the direction that you decide to go.
Right, and it goes without saying that certain individuals are doing yeoman duty in making up for the absence of a DDA director.
Oh yeah, they're digging in double time, doing what needs to be done. And the only problem is with the DDA is that we're falling further and further behind in terms of what needs to be done, for the businesses downtown.
That to-do list keeps building up.
It will.
Maybe that's what's intimidating. Oh, whoa.
Whoa, Dougie, what's going on here? I have no idea. But anyway, Oakland County Main Street, Representative John Bay, he gave a presentation before the DDA rather quick and said that he wants them to recognize that the county believes in Oxford, that there's great possibilities and great potential for Main Street, for Oxford, and they'll pursue that with all vigor to assist, what needs to be done.
And that Main Street has to interface with the upcoming MDOT revision too.
Oh, sure. Certainly does. Yep. Final comments. Sue Bassard said that she would like to see a list of goals for the DDA down the line. She said she's heard a lot of conversation about certain things that need to be done, but nothing put on paper. And she said the same holds true with the village council, and possibly with the planning commission. So she's interested in seeing those things go forward, but in print. So that being said, that takes care of DDA. That's what happened.
All right.
Now let's talk about the Addison Township Board of Trustees meeting that was held on June 19th. Bruce Pearson is the supervisor of the township and heads up this group. Pauline Bennett, of course, is the clerk. Lori Fisher is the treasurer. Jacob Newby, who's a new guy on the block, he serves as a trustee. And Joe King and Linda Garrick and Eric Sent all serve on that board. They did the pledge, got the preliminaries pretty much under control. They approved the agenda, and then they made an appointment to the fire board for a 3-year term, and that would be Tricia Eisenhart, Robert DeWitt, and Rick Mulvey.
They made an appointment or 3 appointments?
3 appointments.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 3. I got 3 names in on 1 appointment, so you have to fight it over. Whoever the survivors are will remain.
All right.
Okay, no, there's going to be 3 appointments, and it's a 3-year term. Public hearing, SAD. And it was a private road, and the SAD requires over 50% of the signatures of the people living on that road in order to get it going forward.
A special assessment district.
You got it. Boy, you've learned a lot on this, haven't you?
Yes. with the lap of my master.
Okay. All right, Cricket, sit back. $210 is the fee, and it's going to run for a 5-year term, period, where it will actually it's kind of like a tax assessment to the people living on this road. So, and what are they going to do for it? They're going to grade the roads, they're going to snow plow it, they're going to provide chloride for the road, and they're going to re-gravel where necessary.
How many homes?
I don't know how many homes there are.
Okay.
There's only one road, though.
Okay.
So we're only concerned with the road at this point. It's a private road, too, so.
Well, the homes are concerned with, they're paying for it.
Well, actually, the people that live inside the home, they're the ones really concerned.
I see.
Not the people living out back in tents. No,
Good.
that don't work. Okay. And anyway, so they asked if there's any public response to this, and there was none. So they went ahead and they approved the first reading. Second reading will be next month, and I believe they'll have 3 readings on this. Could be wrong. That could be a rumor. You want to spread it?
No.
Okay,
no.
all right. Then we'll say 5 more public hearings. No, it's not that many. I know it's
And
not.
on it goes.
And on it goes.
2025.
You got it.
It's the year 2025. Are we having another reading on this?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Will it ever end? I don't know. Okay, first reading of the second one was involving the 2-van trail, which is also a private road. And again, requirements for the SAD is over 50% of the people living on that road need to approve it. Interesting, they got a discount because they're $200 is their payment in order to have this done per piece of property. And it's a 5-year agreement as well. And they do the same virtual things. Maintenance, they grade the road, they snow plow, and they do the chloride and the re-gravel. So it's pretty much all the same thing. That first reading was approved, and then it'll go on with the other one, to have a second reading down the line next month. Now, the next person that stood up, I believe his name is James Beldega, and I think he's the president of the Addison Library. And the library is located at 1420 Rochester Road in Lakeville. And it's a nice little library, and they do a pretty good job, for the public over there, the residency. And it's not a massive library, but it fits their needs. But the problem they have is that their contract is going to expire in 2021 for the building that they're in. And so the thought of the owner was that at that time, the owner would demolish the building, build a new building, set a new contract for the library.
At one time, weren't they going to build a new library?
They have property across the street, roughly, I'm trying to think, about 3.8 acres across the street, but it's not really a good buildable piece of property. I mean, it's kind of on a hill. By the time they have to fill it in and everything, it could be
dangerous.
Very expensive. No, very expensive. Ka-ching, ka-ching. That could be dangerous because I don't think they could afford it without bonding.
Okay.
So, anyway, James, I believe, he gave a presentation, and he said, we would like to see as a library, as part of the residency here in the public, have it next to community building that we have here. And specifically,
township offices?
Yeah, where the offices are at. Actually, specifically where the playground is located on that piece of property. And we'll talk about that when we come back, again, right after this.
The playground was at the bottom of the hill.
Welcome to American Legion in Oxford for the best fish on Fridays. That's right, from noon to 8:30. You can get the best walleye in Michigan. You can get walleye, baked cod, chicken strips, baked potatoes, and more. On the hall side of the Legion, oh, hello there, friends. You can have 12 friends on a table, any one of the best military museums in Michigan. And the dining side, oh, hello again. More comfortable with many 4-seat tables and a couple of 5-seaters. Now on Friday we usually have about 400 to 500 best friends for our fish. Carry out? You bet. We have 50 to 60 carryouts at the post. We have some young friends with the birthdays and some of our best seniors at the post. Oh yeah, waitresses, they go like a track waitress to get your food. If you have never enjoyed our secret famous walleye at the Legion, come on in every Friday from noon to 8:30 at the American Legion Post 108 on 130 East Rainer Road, Oxford.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the library in Addison Township. And it looks like the building size they're going to need is about 4,000 to 5,000 square foot building. So it's kind of a tantalizing idea. But Bruce Pearson said, you know, I think the thing we need to do here, he said, you know, I support the library and the people on this board do, but we need to have a separate meeting to break down the financials, the legalities involved with this, you know, and there's a lot of issues other than just saying, here's a piece of property, build it. So they all agreed on that, and they decided to move forward with it and gain more information. And Bruce said that once I gain that information, I'll bring it back to the board. Good. So that was pretty much it. And next subject we're going to talk about is the Polly Ann Trail Management Council, and that was held on June 21st. Mike McDonald is the chair, and he's actually the president of Leonard Village, and Eric Sent serves on that board. Donnie Steele, she's a treasurer, and she's from Orion Township. Curtis Wright, who's the clerk in Oxford Township, and myself as a trustee are both on that board, and Bruce Pearson, supervisor from Addison Township.
Where'd they meet
serves
this
on that
time?
board. They met at the Oxford Township building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and NOTA, they move their meetings around, so
They
don't
do.
expect them to be there next week if they were.
Right. If you
know,
keep
in
a
another
moving
place.
target, you know, it's pretty safe, you know. But there's a number of things that came up in this meeting that I found rather interesting. They went through the preliminaries, obviously. They did the minutes and so forth. And then they had bills they had to cover, and the bills were like $4,396 and some odd cents, 92 cents.
Yep.
And it was approved, of course. And public comment on non-agenda items. Everybody looked at their shoes, and nothing happened there. And so then the trail manager report came up, and that was Linda Moran. And by the way, she's doing a great job out there. She is all over the place, and she's very energetic. Some of the things she talked about is 7 trash cans have been donated so far for the trails, and they're not an inexpensive thing. They're like $400 or $500 for a trash can, and businesses and local people have donated money in order to get these.
They steel, plastic?
No, they're going to be metal.
Okay.
Yeah. And they also have a plaque on it, or you know, who donated it, which would be kind of nice. So you folks out there are thinking about helping out the people at the Polly Ann Trail and the people that run up and down with bikes and so forth, you could put a trash can there and have your name on it and so forth, and the date in which you donated it.
Sure.
Just get a
Better
hold of
yet.
Linda Moran.
Better yet, use the trash can.
Yeah, better yet. And if you have doggies, make sure you pick up all that gooey stuff that they leave behind.
Little presents?
Yeah, little presents. Yeah, and I understand that there's an issue with that on the trails, that a lot of people.
Why? Does it get underfoot?
Oh, it does get underfoot.
Ow.
Ooh, squishy, squishy, can you say? Anyway, not a good thing. So, you know, you folks with pets, you know, be aware there's other people on the trail, you know, and that's not your own private property. So take care of the trail by picking up after your little critters. Okay, that being said.
So if you see somebody poking at his shoe with a stick, you know what happened.
Right, exactly. So anyway, Orion Township, they can, one of the issues they have on their trail is that there's a bridge that's over the trail in Orion Township, and it's damaged. It's been vandalized a couple times, maybe 3 times.
Well, what do they do? I mean,
They kick out the railings. They do all kinds of things. So,
well.
so anyway, so the request was to have cameras provided, and that was approved. So there will be cameras there. So you folks watch out. They're doing this stuff. You're going to have an awfully big
Given
bill.
what they do to the bridge, those cameras must be mounted very high and
Yep.
safe.
Oh, they have them disguised as grizzly bears, porcupines. You don't want to go over and pet the camera. Not a good idea.
Dead skunk in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it could be it. So anyway, but if they capture you doing this, it's going to cost you ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay, so you don't want that to happen.
And don't
so
count
don't
on
do it anymore.
Don't count on these cameras putting out fuzzy pictures. They're good now.
Yeah. You folks are intent out there trying to damage property that other people are trying to enjoy. Not a good thing. You're going to get caught up on this at some point, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to have cameras out there, and also, let me see, there are a number of washouts from rains.
Oh, yeah.
And Linda Moran and her husband actually have been taking care of a lot of those washouts and filling them in. There's one on Lakeville Road that's right next to the gravel pit, but that's going to take some special work and putting a pipe in and so forth and repairing that. And she said that's on her list. They just haven't had an opportunity to do it. The other thing that she's looking at is, during the last windstorm, a number of limbs came down, and there's some trees that need to be brushed out, and they're doing that as we speak right now. So you'll see workers out there, getting rid of that.
Chainsaws and brush hogs.
Chainsaws and brush hogs. And they'll do it from midnight until 5 in the morning. I'm just kidding. They will not do that. They'll do it in the daytime, not during your sleeping hours. Not a good idea. So, anyway, the next thing she talked about was a lawnmower. She loves the lawnmower. She had, we mentioned, the last time that they had a meeting that the lawnmower was donated. I found out.
This a push model or?
No, it's a commercial type
okay.
lawnmower.
Good.
And actually, Ron Davis, the director of Parks and Recreation for Oxford Township, actually donated this mower, to her, but it had to be repaired, and this guy repaired it for a very reasonable price. I think it cost about $325. The estimate was around $350, $375. So she said it runs like new. She loves it. She said if anybody wants to give her a lawnmower, she'll take it.
Always nice to see things come in under budget.
Oh yeah, very good. And she watches every penny, so she's doing a good job on it. There's a Boy Scout, his name is Streeter. I can't recall what his first name is, but his last name is Streeter. And he's going to work on the Powell Park project. You recall on Powell Street and near the lake there? That property was donated.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so they're going to clean that up, brush it out, and this young man is going to lay a concrete pad where they can put a picnic table, and they're actually going to build a flower arrangement high-rise of some type using not telephone poles. Railroad ties, those guys.
Telephone poles, railroad ties.
That would be a big one. But anyway, using the railroad ties was a suggestion that
I was going to say, this is a big Eagle Scout.
Yeah, right, it would be. Watch out for those big Eagle Scouts. But anyway,
especially if he has a telephone pole under his arm.
Right. But anyway, that was the suggestion that the township supervisor had, Bruce Pearson, that they go with that. They were originally going to go with concrete cinder blocks, that kind of thing. So anyway, the young man has got a big project out there. Hopefully he can succeed at it. He sure got the energy to do it, it looks like. Grants also, she did talk about Linda Moran about money for grants, and she has submitted for a grant. I think it's a sizable grant as well. But she's looking for people that want to donate some money for the goats, because she's run out of funds other than about $500 she has in the kitty right now.
They ate their way through the budget?
They eat their way right through the budget. So if you folks have some money you don't know what to do with, get a hold of Linda Moran. She'll pretty much know what to do with it. What's coming up, by the way?
Not much.
Not much?
Anyhow, but on 6/27 at 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education is meeting at the board offices. And on 7/3, the Village of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeal. Oh, it's canceled. Oh. And on 7/4, happy 4th of July.
Hey, it is. It's coming so quick. You notice how fast summer's going? My gosh, he'll be winter before you know it. Don't put that shovel away. I'm
No.
Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.